Hi, it's Greg Liberto from My Mental Game Coach, and welcome to this month's edition of 18 Online. It is the fastest 18 minutes in golf and the best way to improve your golf game. On today's show, we have Pam Owens from Pam Owens Fitness, and Pam is a Level 3 TPI or Titleist Performance Institute certified coach. Pam is also a Level 1 Precision Nutrition coach, and Pam is going to talk to you today about how to fuel your golf game. Pam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Greg. Great to be here.
Hey, thanks for being on. And we have 18 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer here, and away we go. All right, Pam. So let's just talk about this concept of fueling for golf, and just explain to golfers exactly what that means from your perspective.
Well, golfers look at a lot of things to help their performance and to do well. One of the things that I think has been ignored for a long time is the nutrition piece. So that's why we're talking about that today. We practice golf, we get great equipment, we take lessons, but we do forget sometimes that nutrition plays a huge role in how we perform out on the golf course.
Absolutely. And being a mental game coach, one of the questions that I'm curious about is how does proper nutrition, or maybe lack of proper nutrition, impact the mental aspect of the game?
It plays a big role in the mental aspect. One of the problems we have on the golf course, as you know, is anxiety or lack of focus, frustration, Yes, yeah, you can add to that list.
How about inconsistency? That's another
yes, inconsistency. The brain is actually composed mostly of water, and so just even a slight dip in hydration can affect your ability to focus. So if you are a little bit hydrated, or if you're not getting the nutrients you need at that time, so that can affect your focus. It dips. And then I don't know if, think back as a child, when you get hungry, or when children get hungry, they usually get a little anxious or grouchy. I know personally I do. So that can affect your ability to be consistent on the golf course and can affect your moods. We have mood swings if we're not having consistent levels of nutrition and blood sugar throughout the round.
Sure, absolutely. And then how does that all play into, I know for me personally, Pam, I eat typically every 60 to 90 minutes, 2 hours maybe at the most. I'm constantly fueling my body. I do the same thing out in the golf course. What are some ways for a golfer to, from a nutrition perspective, go into it prepared, and then what would you recommend they bring out on the course as well? Because 4.5 hours to go without eating is a really long time. And I know I've been in situations where I've been so hungry that I just wanted to get the round over or get through that 9 because I didn't eat properly before I went to the course. This is going back a number of years, but just talk a little bit about what you recommend to how to fuel your body prior to a round and then during your round.
Well, there's nothing magical about fueling prior to a round or during the round. And I know there are some sports where we hear about carb loading, or we hear about doing things a lot differently. I would say in golf, we don't necessarily do things differently before, during, or after. Yes, it is the sport. I agree. Not debating that at all. But I think one of the main goals you want to think about is just try to keep things even. So you're going to eat before and throughout your whole life, even consistently. You want to eat the same before, during, and after a golf round. The only change might be you might eat a little more frequently because you are exerting and spending a lot of calories and exerting a lot of energy out on the course. So you want to refuel that energy. So if you just keep in mind, you want to keep things even. Some of the things we want to keep even are our nutrition in, or energy in, and that would keep your blood sugar and all your levels, your fluid levels and your levels in your body the same. So it's the dips, the highs and the lows that cause problems. The other thing we want to manage is inflammation. Inflammation occurs throughout an exercise or throughout a sport. So to manage that, we want to stay hydrated. We want to keep putting antioxidants back in our body to combat the oxidation that occurs. So oxidation, if you're wondering what that is, if you leave an apple or avocado out on the counter, it will turn brown. So that's oxygen will start deteriorating the cells. So that happens in the human body as we exercise or as we're exposed to chemicals or other things. We oxidize. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's something that we need to manage, and we can manage it with food. So we want to have our antioxidants, which are your fruits and vegetables mainly, are very high in antioxidants. So we want to keep that in our bloodstream. Okay. The other thing is fat. We want to pay attention and have enough fat, because fat is not necessarily bad on the golf course. Fat is actually keeps us feeling full, and it gives us a ton of energy. So we get our energy from fat and from carbs, which are fruits and vegetables. And then we get muscle support, or muscle support would be probably the main thing with protein. So I guess keeping all that at an even level before, during, and after golf is going to be important. And that requires you to pack your food with you. So you want to think about that, not just leave it up to chance. You don't want to leave it up to chance and be stuck somewhere, or be stuck eating something that you don't want to eat, that you know is not really going to help you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I typically bring a banana or an apple along with a trail mix, which is, cashews, almonds, peanuts, typically. I know one of the things that you had talked about when we spoke in the past is turkey jerky. And, I'd just like to just hear again from your perspective, let's say for somebody who goes to the course totally empty-handed, without water, without any kind of food. Maybe they grabbed a bite before the round. Maybe they did not. Maybe they were in a hurry. They're coming from work. Maybe they haven't had anything in the last couple of hours or few hours. What would you recommend as something really simple for golfers to bring out there, Pam?
Well, I mentioned turkey jerky because it doesn't require refrigeration. So we want to think along that. Things can melt out there. Things get hot. I brought a couple of packages of jerky that I've seen that you can buy at some stores. You can also order it online. The brand is called Tonka. There's 2 different flavors. I've gotten our golf courses that I've been around to, encourage the chef to start ordering this and stocking it for the golfers. The other brand that is very popular on the tour is King Made. And it was a jerky that a tour caddy made for his golfers, and it got popular. Now it's in stores and online. So King Made, and then Tonka. Tonka is, I'll tell you a little bit about it because the ingredients are right here. This is buffalo jerky, actually. It has some good fat in it, and it's also been packed with dried cranberries. So there you are with your antioxidants with the cranberries. So you've got the protein to keep you satisfied. It's got some fat in it, and you've got cranberries. So that's a great way to pack protein on the golf course that doesn't require refrigeration.
Excellent. Okay, so it's Tonka jerky, right? And then you said it's King, K-I-N-G Made?
Yes,
okay.
M-A-D-E, King Made.
Okay.
Jerky.
Excellent. And, being a nutrition coach as well as a TPI certified fitness coach, I know you're also a level 1 precision nutrition certified coach as well. I'm just curious, do most golfers start with you on the nutrition side, or do they start on the fitness? Is it a combination of the two, or what's more predominant in terms of what a golfer sees as an area that they need the most improvement in? It's been very great lately because people will come for both. Often I will sit down and do the fitness portion. I'll do an assessment of their fitness level. I'll get some feedback from their golf coach. I will look at what's going on with their body, balance, stability, flexibility, try to figure out where they generate their power. They're always going to generate their power from their most strongest part of their body. So if you want total power,
You want it from the upper core and lower body. So if there's might be a weak link somewhere, we're going to work on that weak link, and then we're going to make sure we maintain the other parts that are already generating power. So we'll do that in the first session. We'll also set aside another time where we talk about nutrition, because it really does go together. You can't build muscle, you can't maintain a good energy level and performance without the nutrition piece also. So we look at all that, as well as weight loss if that's necessary. Back to the nutrition side, and what happens out on the golf course is dysfunctional eating leads to a dysfunctional core. So it's very tied together. If you have poor eating, you've got a slow metabolism, then your core is not really going to work. And when I say the core, I mean all the muscles in the trunk. We've got to generate power from the ground up. It goes through the trunk all the way through the arms to the club head. So it's just one long, beautiful, graceful connection. When you look at that swing of a world-class golfer, you see that beautiful sequence. And if you do not have a functioning core due to poor nutrition or lack of muscle or whatever reason it is, then you're just not going to be able to generate power all the way through to the club head. So nutrition is huge. So usually I will meet with a golfer and I'll see them for both things.
Okay, great. And do you do most of your coaching in the gym, in an office, on the golf course? How do you go about doing your coaching specifically?
Most of it is in the gym. They come see me, but it's been wonderful with technology nowadays. Just as we're doing today, we're doing video conferencing. I have a good portion of my clients that I meet with once a week via phone or via video. And we'll FaceTime or Skype or something like that. But we do check in, we troubleshoot. I will send them information via email. We'll talk and go through what's going on with their week, what issues they're having, and I'll kind of assign a new workout or assign some new habits to work on for nutrition to help them keep them growing and help them troubleshoot the issues that are most challenging.
Great. And I know, being a coach myself, and especially with the mental aspect of the game, a lot of golfers lack discipline. And, we just lack discipline as humans. I think a lot of us do. And I know that most people who change their diet, a lot of people have a difficult time staying with it, even though they know it's the proper way to eat. What do you do to keep your students more disciplined and actually stick with a proper nutrition plan?
We work on the one habit method. The one habit method is extremely powerful. The belief behind the one habit method is that if it's a habit, then you don't have to think about it. And so you get emotional freedom, you don't spend any time making decisions and debating about it. It's a habit. So one of the first habits we start with is to try to keep that even level of energy and nutrition is to eat every 2 to 4 hours. That's a basic habit that many people that have problems with focus, stamina, and energy on the golf course, I find, are not doing that. They're not eating every 2 to 4 hours in their daily life, whether they're playing golf or not. A common scenario is to skip breakfast, have a sugary caffeine drink late morning, eat a light lunch or skip lunch, load up in the afternoon with a heavy meal, eat a good healthy dinner, and then snack all the way to bedtime. That's super common. And so they're not really following that first habit. It's a hard habit to do. It sounds really simple, but it is a hard habit to incorporate if you haven't been eating breakfast, because you're not hungry and you don't think about it. But it really affects what you do at breakfast, really affects how you feel in the afternoon. So that's the habit method is very huge. And so with the weekly calls or the accountability with the coach, we can troubleshoot what comes up in your life that's preventing you from being able to do that. And so that's usually the habit that we would start with first.
Okay. And you still see a lot of golfers going to the course, grabbing a cup of coffee, or maybe probably even worse, an energy drink. I mean, is that pretty common for you to see that?
It is. It is very common. Um,
Hopefully not your students, right?
no, and you know, the great thing about it is, within a few days or even a week, people will, when we get back together, they're like, I can't believe it. You know, they're shocked. It's like, I didn't even, you know, I didn't lose my focus. I had plenty of stamina, plenty of energy. So this is one of the habits that you can feel right away, if you put it in your life.
Great, great. Do you have an example, Pam? We got a few minutes left here. Do you have an example of a specific student that maybe that you have worked with, whether it's recent or in the past, that really had a, you know, kind of a transformation with this whole aspect of the game?
Yes, I do. I have a guy who's really, he's in his early 30s and he's in pretty good shape. A very competitive amateur. He, within about 3 weeks, he lost 6 pounds of fat around his stomach, and he wasn't trying to do that, but he just kind of cleaned up his eating, got some of the processed foods out, started there every 2 to 4 hours. He was, like I described before, eating that sugary caffeine drink late morning, but he started incorporating eggs and some vegetables at breakfast and an omelet, and started following the every 2 to 4 hours, getting more vegetables in his day, getting that consistent protein and good healthy fat. And like I say, he lost 6 pounds of fat in about a month or so, and started having a lot more energy on the golf course. He said he's even hitting the ball further. He's doing the fitness piece and the nutrition piece. So he's
Great.
flew the green a couple of times, had to adjust. So he's
Nice.
showing some improvement in both areas.
That's a that's a good problem to have if it doesn't typically happen.
Right.
Happen, I guess, right?
Yes, definitely.
To wrap up, Pam, how would somebody contact you, and how would what would they do to get started?
Well, I'd love for them to go to my website on the contact page. My website's pamowensfitness.com. And on the contact page, they can submit their name and email and any comments they want to make or questions they have. I'd love to talk to them. Sign up for the newsletter, and for your listeners, Greg, I'd love to send them a handout called Pick 3. It's a handout that I put together specifically for golf. I'll just show you what it looks like. It's got all these different foods categorized that you can combine together, and it gives you lots of examples and things to focus on. So I don't know, I'm a very visual person, so I think some of your golfers will be too. So I'd love to give them a copy of this handout if they would like to contact me.
That sounds great. Sounds great, Pam. Hey, it looks like we're at the end of our time here. So I want to say thank you, number one. This is enlightening for me. Think I'm pretty good with my nutrition. We all have room for improvement, obviously. So I appreciate the tips here today. And we'll just give everybody a recap of the top things that you talked about. But again, it's Pam Owens from PamOwensFitness.com. Pam, thanks so much for being on the show, and we look forward to having you again.
Yeah, and they're welcome to come see me here at Royal Oaks Country Club in Houston, Texas.
There you go. There you go. Pam Owens from Pam Owens Fitness, everybody. We're going to sign off for now. It's Greg Liberto, the head coach, saying play your best golf ever, and we look forward to seeing you in the next webinar.
Thank you, Greg. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Pam.